I'm going to ask you a little trivia question here. Name the one NFL quarterback that was the number one high school quarterback, and then he went to college, he won a bunch of games, had no critics at a power school, and he went number one in the NFL draft, that it was perfect. There were very few speed bumps, a lot of support, not a lot of critics, high school great, college great, number one NFL pick. I mean, it was smooth sailing. Matt Stafford is it. His career now, close to the 18th hole. Not a lot of big wins. Is it because Matt Stafford lacked talent? No. Or perhaps it was because Matt Stafford never has that mettle, that intensity needed after being told, no, you're too short, you're too this, and you're too that. Folks, Drew Brees is what Hall of Fame quarterbacks, that's where they come from. Too small. Second-round pick. One of the great Texas high school quarterbacks. Nobody offered him a scholarship. Had to go to cold weather Purdue. His first NFL team, the Chargers, chose Phillip Rivers. Miami, he wanted to go there. Nah, we don't like your shoulder. He goes to New Orleans. A losing franchise with a bad front office. He gets a coach nobody's heard of, some young kid with a lot of energy. Then there's Katrina, a natural disaster, moves the team out of the city, and he's the all-time leader in touchdowns. 5'11 and a half, maybe 6 foot tall Drew Brees. Yeah. The NFL media and the media in general acts like overly protective mothers for our quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson dropped in the first round. They asked him to work out at wide receiver. I know, it's great, right? That's exactly the formula for legends. You know, we like you at quarterback, but try out at wide receiver. But I was great in college. You know, go over there and try out at wide receiver. No, I mean, I set records at Louisville. You all freak out because Lamar Jackson didn't get drafted in the top 10. He had to go all the way to the bottom of the first round. And somebody had the audacity to ask him to maybe want to try out at quarterback and receiver. Now, that's exactly the kind of jet fuel and roadblock and doubters and critics that creates legends. Only one quarterback in this league, one that most of us think is underachieved and not lived up to it, was a high school number one and a college number one and an NFL number one. Cam Newton had a transfer. The last two number one picks, Kyler and Baker, had the transfer. Russell Wilson had to transfer. Aaron Rodgers had to go to a junior college. Carson Wentz went to, I don't know, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, some Dakota State. Patrick Mahomes, 30th best Texas quarterback. You know who offered him a scholarship? Rice and Texas Tech. The whole league is a series of, you'll never make it, you're too short. I told my wife last night, it's like America. If you looked at Bill Clinton's resume, you're like, he can't. My mom grew up in England. She's like, you're born into it. You're a royal family. We don't have a royal family. You got to overcome. Ronald Reagan's the most popular president of my lifetime. He was an actor who moved to a governor who people made fun of. I mean, this is exactly Drew Brees. The NBA has Jerry West as a logo. Drew Brees should be the NFL logo. I mean, he is the NFL. Too short, big injuries, overcome. Chargers are like, no, we like Phillip Rivers. But I was at Purdue, my nut. Now get out of here. He goes to Miami. Now we don't like your shoulder. Then he goes to New Orleans. Then the natural disaster. He's had to overcome his whole life. And he leads the NFL all time in touchdown passes. Are you kidding me? This is why I love the NFL. It's you have to grind. We're always overly protecting. Josh Allen played in California in high school. Nobody liked him. He had to go to Wyoming and play in the mountains. That's what defines the league. Brees defines it. Right now, the three best quarterbacks in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers, junior college. Drew Brees, first team bailed on him. And Russell Wilson. Even the team that drafted him passed on him twice when the only thing they had at quarterback was Matt Flynn. Here's the record by Brees and his thoughts afterwards. It shouldn't. You are what Hall of Fame quarterbacks look like. Not quite tall enough, not quite the arm, overlooked, not a number one pick, had to transfer. Congrats. For the record, years ago, I was at the place I used to work. They had a gym on campus. and I've told this story a couple times. So it was like June, and Drew Brees showed up to the other place. He was going to be on a bunch of shows. Can't do it during the season. And I walk into the gym, just to, daily workout, and I look over and I'm like, that looks like Drew Brees. And he's got a hat on. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's just in between shows. He's like, I got to work out. I'm like, you've been on 4 shows. He goes, I know. I got 45 minutes. I want to work out. He's drenched in sweat. He's doing these arm, shoulder, pull-up things that I'm sitting to myself. The guy's dripping sweat because he has 45 minutes in between shows. Just got to get a workout in. Why? Because they told him he was too short. That never, ever leaves you, the fear of being replaced. All right, let's shift gears to this. Even by Cleveland Brown standards, this is a tire fire. According to Mike Silver, NFL Network reporter, multiple Brown players said to Arizona players, come get me, including Jarvis Landry. Have you noticed over the last 4 to 5 weeks with Cleveland, there's been a lot of noise? Who hasn't said a word? The outspoken, verbose general manager, John Dorsey, has not said a word. The helmet mess, remember the helmet thing? Didn't say a word. OBJ rumors, didn't say a word. Baker Mayfield ripped the medical staff, didn't say a word. The Kitchens T-shirt debacle, didn't say a word. The sideline argument this weekend has not said a word. Freddie Kitchens, I don't care about my job, has not said a word. Not a peep. He's not only not throwing Freddie Kitchens a life preserver, he's at the edge of the boat watching him drown and smiling. This is, of course, why I do not believe Freddie Kitchens will retain his job. This is called job preservation by a general manager, because he has to go to the owner, Jimmy Haslam, and he can't go and say, I whiffed on Baker Mayfield. We don't have a quarterback. Not a lot of those out there. He can't go to his owner and say, hey, OBJ thing, I completely whiffed, because they gave up too much for him. But he can go to his owner and say, listen, wasn't a ton of candidates out there. Baker went to us and said, I like Freddie Kitchens. They had a great relationship. I rolled the dice. I missed on that. I just missed on the coach. Just let me go get Mike McCarthy, and we're all good here. This is a team that has made nothing but noise for the last 6 weeks, and not a peep from the outspoken general manager. I got nothing against John Dorsey, but I do know self-preservation is a real thing. You get 2 chances in this league to be a GM. You whiff on the second, you're done making 7 figures. You just become like a regional scout, a consultant, maybe a TV guy. Maybe he'd be a great TV guy. But it is interesting to me in this ongoing tire fire, and we have had 7 or 8 opportunities for a general manager to jump in and support his quarterback and support Freddie Kitchens and support the player. Not a peep. By the way, Freddie Kitchens, who said, I don't care about my job, clarified it because he can feel the heat. Freddie Kitchens clarified that yesterday. I'll say it again. Nothing against the reporter. I do not believe the report this weekend that Freddie Kitchens is safe and will be retained. The fact that John Dorsey, multiple opportunities, has not thrown him a life preserver as a rookie head coach signals to me he's a dead coach walking. That's what I feel like. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.